Doing this is Clifton Raheem Bradley out of the United States in Chicago, and I'm gonna do a podcast called the Underground Railroad Podcast. And this we do a TV show that comes on every Saturday night in Chicago and on the web at 10:30 p.m. Central Time on Saturdays. Here on TV, Channel 19. And you know what? Let me get on right to the point. You know what? I have really been looking and trying to understand the immigration problem, a situation that is going on in the United States right now, especially in Chicago, as I live in Chicago, and this affects New York and California. And you know what? In this, there is a government shutdown right now. What do I mean by government shutdown? For people that don't understand, okay, year 2025, where you can use this show for a case study to see what we were doing. And what happened, government shutdown is when the government is shut down. I'm talking about like, in other words, the military, Army, the Navy, the Air Force, and the Coast Guards, they're not getting paid. They're not getting one dime, which and the other thing is Social Security. It's open, but the thing is you have to have an appointment at that other and at the VA hospital. What does VA stands for? That stands for veterans. Okay. They go to the facility to get help. You know, if they're feeling an ailment, are they sick, are they have an operation? And the thing is, the nurses, you know, and quite naturally, you can call if you want to comment on any of this, anything else. Quite naturally, when you are not getting paid to exhibit, to utilize the skills, God given skills that you have developed by getting more knowledge for the nurses, you're not going to come to work. The average person, I'm not going to say one person might say, hey, you know what? I'm dedicated. I'm doing this because I love this. But I'm saying typically, when you talk about the norm, you're not going to come to work. And like I say, me being ex-military and these are my brothers, whether they're in the Marines, they're the Army, the Air Force, okay, the Coast Guards, the National Guards, and I gotta say, Space Force now. Okay. If they are performing a duty, they should be getting paid. They should be getting paid. So I'm not in variance to them working and them not getting paid, but I'm not saying, you know what, you walk away from your post because eventually this is going to be resolved. This is going to be resolved. Okay. But when I really sit down, I did a video about it and then I really came back and thought about it. Okay. What is the dilemma? What is the problem all about? The problem or the situation is about the bill, or the big beautiful bill somebody says that was passed, okay? And now if it was passed, what happens is they have to make a new budget because there is a budget money shortage, okay? You have to make a new budget. And what happened is the bill was passed in Congress and ratified by the Senate. Now, with the budget, the Democrats, the Democrats, which I think is wrong. Okay. Hey, what happened is they don't want to sign the budget for the budget deficit to take care of it because they want something included. They want something included. They believe that immigrants should be included, okay, in getting Medicare. Okay. Now, This is a talking point. This is a talking point. And that's all everybody keeps on saying, that the Republicans do not want them to have Medicare, and they're using it now. Bottom line, this is the bottom line. Okay, according to the research that I have done, the immigrants, the people that came into the country, the United States of America, they cannot utilize Medicare. Can utilize. Okay, and because of that, the Democrats, they, for them to come to the table and to meet and to get together and say, you know what, we're going to resolve this issue. Okay, if I sign the bill to take care of this deficit for this fiscal year, 3 years or whatever, we want this included. Okay, they want it included. That I'm looking at it. I've done the research. I've got this information by reading it, going to Chat GPT, and you know what? I'm just not saying this out of ignorance. You know what? Because it's a fool that'll say something out of ignorance. But sometimes you think you know something, but you don't. And you know what I have to say? My audience has challenged me to get more understanding. The thing is, when you have a YouTube channel, you know what? You have to find out what your audience wants and not what you want. So y'all, I thank y'all for responding to my shows on Sanctuary City. So the thing is, what the Democrats want, they want to, they want refugees that have come in from different countries without even following the protocol to be entitled, to be entitled to Medicare. Okay. And you know what? I say no, 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 because this is an injustice. Because that money for Medicare, this is supposed to be allocated. This is supposed to be allocated for citizens that came into the United States. And you know what? And they followed the protocol. What do I mean by protocol? They followed the steps or the proper procedures to come into the country. Okay. So, and then they're so arrogant. They say we're going to take our ball and, you know, we're going to make everybody suffer. You know, I had a problem with that. Okay. And then the second thing is, when we talk about immigrants, they also want asylum seekers, people that have asylum. Okay, in sanctuary cities. What are sanctuary cities? Sanctuary cities are cities that you can come to if you come from outside outside of the United States of America. You can come in. You can come in with no passport. You can come in with no visa. You can come in with no green card. Okay, they want individuals that are in asylums. In asylums, one tell you 3 states that are asylums. Okay, for immigrants to come in. Okay, it's Chicago, where I live at, and what happened is New York. With Madani, y'all gonna have a new mayor in New York, and what I understand, he's gonna be a socialist. Okay, and in California, California is a mess. Okay, because they're overburdened. Okay, and what happens is these people that are coming in through to the sanctuary cities, what they're doing is they're putting a financial burden, okay, on the people that live in these cities. So therefore, the property taxes are going up. Okay, they're taking extra money um, from social benefits. So therefore, people that have asylum, they're saying, Democrats are saying, you know what? You know what? If they came in to asylum into Chicago, New York, and California and other sanctuaries, they should get Medicare. I, you know what? I don't agree with that because, and don't get me wrong, I'm no fool. Okay, I know that the United States has caused instability in other nations. Okay, to cause economical peril. I know this. I get it. What I'm saying is, if you, so therefore, this is the bottom line: is you have asylum, you come into a sanctuary city, you afforded things. Okay, like I think personally, and this not, I don't hate immigrants. I don't. You know what? Of mankind. The thing is, it it is unfair for individuals that come into sanctuary cities like Chicago, okay, to have entitlements. Okay, I have money that has been earmarked for citizens that are here legally, and you know what? It is wrong. I mean, it is wrong for a immigrants to be staying in a 4-star, 3-star, 2-star hotel, a motel, and you have people that have been homeless, people that are sleeping up underneath bridges for years. Okay, to allocate the capital, this is wrong. Okay. So the last point is and they also, Democrats also believe that the survivors of trafficking and domestic violence should get Medicare from other countries. I feel sorry for them. I propose that, you know what, this money should be allocated for United States citizens. I propose that the Democrats are wrong. And also, I propose that U.S. President Donald Trump won by a mandate. He won by mandate, okay? No matter how you try to trivialize it, no matter how you don't like him, you don't like him, you don't want to be bothered with it. But the thing is, this is something that you have to deal with for 3.5 more years. Why do you have to deal with it? Because if you say that you believe in democracy, you have to deal with the outcome. Okay. Go to another country. You know, so what I'm saying is, you know what, Democrats are funny. It's funny to me, and never, because what Donald Trump is doing, President Trump is doing, he's fulfilling his campaign promises. So you know what? So what I think is, you as a people, what you're doing is you're stewing in your own juice right now. You're stewing in your own juice. And you know what? I think it is pathetic. I think that it is wrong. I think that it is dead wrong that you as Democrats cannot accept the outcome, but you're angry about it. You're upset. You're frustrated. But you know what? The same energy that you use to demonize. That's like on a View television show. That's a show in Chicago, in United States, called The View, with Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar. It is such hate that comes out. In other words, they want him to fail. They want him to fail. And and you know what? It is so interesting. You know what? And I also believe that, you know what, you should have the right. You should have the right to free speech. That is something, you should have the right to free speech. But it is interesting to me that you have a country that is being overrun. I mean, like, it's like what's going on in England right now. And I don't really understand why the American news is just ignoring it. Showing you somebody throwing a yo-yo up and down, somebody at a pumpkin patch. And thing is that in the UK, there are hundreds of thousands of people that are protesting to their government that they want migrants to be removed, and feel that these entitlements should go for people that live in the UK and England. But the United States news media, they ignore that. They ignore it, or they trivialize it. Trivializing it meaning they're not paying much attention to it. And this storm is going on in the United States of America right now. I'm doing this show because, you know what? This is what people that prescribe to my channel by looking at my status. This is what they say they want to talk about. Okay. They don't want to talk about it, they want to hear about it because this is in the news, and there's a lot going on in the United States of America at this time. And you know what? Hell, so therefore, my premise is these are my three talking points. The Democrats want refugees to be able to get Medicare. They want asylum seekers to be able to get Medicare. They want those with temporary protection status to be able to get Medicare. And they also want survivors of trafficking and human trafficking and domestic violence that come in from other countries without following the proper protocol. Okay, protocol means steps to come into the country. They want them to be able to get there. But my personal opinion is that the United States, I really, you know what, even if this debt ceiling is raised, I don't think the U.S. can get out of it because the U.S. is in debt. They're in debt. They are in debt to China. They're in debt to these nations. And the thing is, they are in debt. So I think like when you are like if you have a household, okay, and you running a deficit, okay, gas bill, light bill, phone bill, and then you have other things, okay, and you're running a deficit. You got more money coming in, you got more money going out than coming in. You have to make some type of adjustment. You have to make some type of cuts, okay? So therefore, I mean, the dollar bill is not really backed by anything. And I think one of the threats in a promise of what's going to challenge the United States of America is BRICS. What is BRICS? BRICS are other nations that are coming together, and they're getting their own dollar bills that are backed by gold. Okay, so therefore, the American dollar bill is not backed by anything. Okay, it's not anything, you know. So, but it's backed by gold. And why you might be see, well, that's what BRICS is. I mean, it's India. I think it's South Africa. I know that it's China and it's Russia, and there are more and more countries. And what happened is, at some point, it appears as though they're gonna make this is gonna become a third world country, okay? Because our dollar bills are not backed by anything. It used to be backed by gold, but President Nixon took us off the gold standard in 1971. 1971. So therefore, these are fiat dollars. What does fiat mean? Fiat means that there's so many dollars in circulation that the value goes down and down and down. So therefore, this dollar bill is not backed by anything. It's so that's where we get the term fiat dollar. But BRICS forming their own organization to design their own currency. Okay. And one of the reasons that they're doing is because um so one of the reasons that they're doing this is that their dollar bill or their currency cannot be frozen. Whereas if they don't abide by what the United States wants done, okay. So this is one of the reasons why they developing their own currency, and you know what? It's a danger to the United States of America that maybe even the danger of these tariffs. That may be a danger because what it would a danger of the tariffs with China is China may say, you know what, forget it, keep the tariffs on. You know what, I think they will improvise and they will adapt and they will start shipping their products out to more products out to other countries. And it's a possibility they may say, you know what? You want to put 100% tariff? You know what? We got a whole world outside of the United States that we can give our products and our goods to. Because you know what? When you really, really sit back and look at it, the United States, if you look at the whole globe, the United States is just 4 to 5% of the world population. So they say we'll concentrate on that. Where they're developing the AI technology, okay, and they have more robots. They have produced more robots that you can buy, okay, in China, okay, than the United States has walking around right now. So their technology is exceeding us. And the silly people, it's ironic to me. The congressmen and the senators, which they are right, say we need to ban TikTok. We need to ban TikTok. TikTok is a social media platform. We need to ban it. What's crazy about it? You are so adamant about banning TikTok, which I know they made a deal, okay, because China is collecting that mega data to use to their advantage. But what's so acidine about it is that China has bought you. A lot of people just don't know, damn it, because they just don't read. China has bought up a lot of land in the United States of America. And you know what's so crazy about it? They have bought up land by military bases. Military bases. Okay. But I don't hear no outcry about that. Well, you probably say, why would they buy land by military bases? Come on, duh. You gotta think. Think. If I buy land by a military base and I understand technology, technology. Do you understand? I can collect information that can be utilized under for normal circumstances, how to deal with you. And if a provocation or a war starts, I can utilize information. And and I was just reading something. You know what? China, I think it passed the United States because I see that Nvidia. I'm not probably not saying it right. They make computer chips. I read they were prohibiting them from getting certain computer chips. But what they did is they used somebody else from a nation that was not on the list, that was not prohibited from getting chips. These chips about technology. And then they used another party and they ship these Nvidia chips that are very sophisticated, great technology, okay, to China. And I think that the United States just fell behind. Just fell behind as a superpower. It fell behind, because China, they might do like this. Is smiling. President Xi is thinking. He's thinking. He's thinking. He's thinking. He's thinking. That is what he's doing because portion I read their navy is bigger than ours. Okay, and the thing is that I don't know if they have more satellites. What to gather information. They got little drones that they put in waters now that look like fish, a stingray, and it looked like an insect collecting information. TikTok is collecting, the social media platform TikTok is collecting information. So that at some point, that information is going to be weaponized. I'm not going to say it is, it could be weaponized against industrial nations. But I happen to think maybe China just wants to make the society and it's so crazy. Like what China is investing heavily, heavily in Africa. Okay, And we know that Africa has minerals. They're giving loans to leaders in Africa that they know that they will not have the ability to pay back. They're thinking, okay? And the U.S. is dumbed down. They take education very seriously. Very seriously. I might be happy with getting a C in school, but they're happy when they get an A. You know, brother named Mark Sims told me he has a show called Viewpoint. He had a show called Viewpoint on Can Television in Chicago. He said, I worked in a China house, an Asian house one day, and a little boy came home and he got a C. And my partner, my associate looked at him, Mark Sims looked at him and said, what are you mad about? What are you mad? He said, I got a C. They strive for A's. In the United States of America, the educational system, they grade the children on a sliding curve. So they multiply and divide the lowest grade with the highest grade so more people can pass in grammar school and high school. And they don't do that in China. And China is exceeding the United States in the educational field, even though they come over here, but they go back and they take their knowledge back to their nation. Okay, so it would not surprise me one day if China, Korea, and North Korea, South Korea, and Asian countries that they say, and Philippines, they say, you know what, we sort of, we sort of the same people. Hey, you know what? Let's try to come together. Okay, and put our differences, which I believe China being ahead, but China may say we all be equals. But I don't know. But the thing is, the United States got some hard times coming, and with BRICS, where the money is backed by gold, and the dollar bill is not backed by anything. The dollar bill is getting weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. Even if they, like I said, even if they go up on the debt ceiling, that's going to weaken. That's going to weaken the dollar. It's already weak. Okay, so so those are my talking points that I wanted to talk about, and I wanted to talk about it because you know what, how many people are looking in my audience. This is what you have requested that you want to see. You know what? This is what you have requested. And you know what? I'm doing the best of my ability to, each channel, I had to find out about YouTube. Each channel has their own audience. And you know what? Every audience, they don't like the same thing. They don't. That's why you have so many channels on the television. That's why you have so many channels. And the thing is, may not have 100,000 likes or something like that. But what I'm doing is I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to learn by looking at my channel, some statistics. What my channel likes. My channel is not your channel. You talk about UFOs. You talk about trains. That's okay. You got to learn with your audience, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to do some shows that I like. Okay, because that defeat my purpose. But the thing is, so that's what I would say to Democrats. Shame, shame, shame on you to take your ball and want to go home because you you want provisions. You want provisions, okay, in the documentation to be passed for the budget that refugees, okay, would get Medicare. Shame on you, okay. You want asylum seekers in Chicago, New York, and California to be able to use Medicare. Shame on you. Shame on you. okay, and those with temporary status, okay, you want them to be able to get Medicare. Shame on you. You're wrong. You're wrong. Okay. And you want survivors of trafficking and domestic violence that came into the country and did not follow the protocol. What does protocol mean? Did not follow the proper steps to be able to get you're wrong. You're wrong. You are wrong. But presently, for all those who got a misunderstanding about Medicare, they think immigrants are getting Medicare right now. From the research I have done, they're not getting Medicare right now. They are not getting Medicare. But the Democrats want them. And do they want them to get Medicare? They can get an allegiance, okay, for their own. Do they have their own motivations where they say, hey, we held out for them, and you know what? Since we're losing people in the Democratic Party, it would make more people susceptible to say, you know what? Hey, they did look out for us. We're gonna go with the Democratic Party, you know. And that's just me. Okay. That's just me. You know, I know if I was a refugee and they say, hey man, they made it where I could have Medicare, I would say, you know what? Something new and the Democrats tried to help, you know what? I'm going to become a Democrat. And I believe that Jeffries and all these people, they're playing some type of game. They're playing a strategic game. And I believe that the Democrats are wrong. And you know what? I did some research on Chat GPT. Okay. Talking about this issue. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit this, and what happened is I'm going to play that. Who knows? I might be able to play it now. I'm gonna, you know what? I don't with these contractions, I don't know, but you know what? I'm gonna try. You know what? Because you know what? Nothing beats a failure but a try, because I want you to hear what Chat GPT said about it. Okay, I want you to hear it. Okay, so right now. I gotta admit to you, I'm stumbling and I'm fumbling, and you know what? This is just a connection. This just came to me. I said, wait a minute, play it right now. I'm gonna play it right now if I can, because you know what thing is. Because I want you to hear this. I want you to hear this. And I'm trying to the best of my ability. Here it is. Okay. Hope it plays. Okay. This is what Chat GPT says about the government shutdown and the Democrats, okay, not wanting to sign the budget deal because they want immigrants to be able to get health care. But presently, regardless of what they say, they do not get Medicare right now.
Fact-checking organizations and nonpartisan policy analysts have overwhelmingly concluded that the Republican claim about Democrats demanding free health care for illegal aliens is false or highly misleading. Here is the breakdown of why the Democratic position is more factually accurate. Undocumented immigrants are ineligible for federal health care under long-standing federal law. Immigrants without legal status are ineligible to enroll in Medicare or Medicaid except for emergency care, which is mandated by law, or to receive subsidies on the Affordable Care Act ACA marketplace. Democrats were not proposing to change this law. The actual dispute was over lawfully present immigrants. The main point of contention regarding immigrants was the Democratic push to reverse cuts made by the Republican-backed One Big Beautiful Bill OBBBA. This bill had stripped federal health coverage eligibility from large groups of lawfully present immigrants who had previously been eligible, such as refugees, asylees, those with temporary protected status TPS, survivors of trafficking and domestic violence. The main Democratic priority, Democrats' core demands, were a two-part package that would primarily benefit U.S. citizens and lawfully present immigrants, reverse OBBBA cuts, This would restore Medicaid and Medicare eligibility for an estimated 1.4 million lawfully present immigrants and also restore federal funding for emergency care to hospitals. Conclusion: the Republican claim focused on a highly charged, incorrect assertion about undocumented immigrants to frame the shutdown debate around immigration. The Democratic position focused on protecting access to health coverage for lawfully present immigrants and millions of American citizens from expiring subsidies and prior legislative cuts.
So what it is they want individuals to to get Medicare that have not contributed. And I submit to you that it puts a drain on Medicare, and that will raise up the prices, and therefore that will cause more inflation, maybe even hyperinflation. And you know what? So I commend what U.S. President Donald Trump and the Republicans are doing, and I believe that they should stick by their guns. Okay, the Democrats are wrong, and you know what? They can't get their way. They're like babies. You know what? They said we'll take our ball and go home, and we'll make it seem like you did it. But I believe this is gonna be a boomerang effect. So, if you like this, hey, you know what? Give us a thumbs up. If you don't, that's fine too. Because you know what? There, but this the final thing I will say that Republicans won by not a mandate, no matter how they want to trivialize it. On the View television show that comes on ABC on Channel 7. Okay. In the United States, and pretty sure they come on the net. And what and going back to I'm gonna go to Jimmy Kimball, him making the statement about Charlie Clerk. You know, I think that ABC put him back on the air for the right reasons. I did not agree with things that just Charlie Kirk said. But you know what? Thing is, I feel that he had the right. He had the right to say it. Okay, he had the right to say it. So Jimmy Kimball Live, okay, was a television show that comes on in the United States, and this is what was going on in year 2025 for people that are looking at this in the future. This is what we was dealing with, and when you see this, I'm pretty sure that the the budget deficit will be resolved, and hopefully, when you see this, the immigration situation will be resolved. So I'm going to get off. And like I said, I want to thank you for the people that look. If you like this, go. And I do a show called The Underground Railroad. It comes on every Saturday night in Chicago at 10:30 p.m. But I will put the website link is where you can go to the website and watch it no matter where you are. And also you can see this show okay, on social media platforms and YouTube specifically, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And I thank you. And hey, I greet everybody in the words of Assalamu alaikum. And don't mean nothing bad by saying it. That means peace and blessings be upon